My daughter Lily has an imaginary friend. She calls him Pipsqueak. It started innocently enough, as these things often do. At 4 years old, Lily would chatter away to an empty chair, set an extra place at the dinner table, and insist that Pipsqueak needed a bedtime story too. My husband, Tom, and I found it endearing. It was a normal part of childhood development, or so all the parenting books told us. Pipsqueak was, according to Lily, a boy with hair the color of sunshine and eyes like the summer sky. He wore a patched-up coat, even in July, and was always carrying a small wooden bird that never sang. The first time I felt a chill was on a rainy Tuesday afternoon. I was in the kitchen, trying to salvage a slightly burnt batch of cookies, when Lily skipped in, her little face serious. She said, "Mummy, Pipsqueak says you're sad about the flower box." I froze, my hand hovering over the cookie sheet. She was talking about the window box outside my old bedroom, at my parents' house, a house I hadn't lived in for over 10 years. When I was a teenager, my first love, a boy named Leo, had built it for me. We'd filled it with petunias. After he passed away in a car accident, the box remained, a silent, painful reminder. How could Lily possibly know about that? I knelt down, trying to keep my voice steady. "The flower box. What do you mean, sweetie?" Lily just shrugged, her attention already drifting to a ladybug on the windowsill. "Pipsqueak said it was your favorite. He said the boy who made it had sunny hair, just like him." My blood ran cold. Leo had blonde hair, bright, sunny, blonde hair. I told myself it was a coincidence, a strange, unsettling coincidence. I must have mentioned it at some point, and Lily, with her sponge-like mind, had absorbed it and woven it into her games with Pipsqueak. That had to be it. But the coincidences kept piling up. A week later, I was searching for an old locket, a gift from my grandmother. I'd torn the house apart, convinced it was lost forever. Lily walked into my room, holding Pipsqueak's invisible hand. "Pipsqueak says to check the pocket of your blue winter coat, Mummy. The one you wore to the festival with the pretty lights." My blue winter coat. I hadn't worn it in years, but I went to the back of the closet, pulled it out, and felt inside the pocket. My fingers closed around the cool, familiar shape of the locket. My heart hammered against my ribs. The festival she mentioned. That was a winter carnival I'd gone to with Leo. It was where he'd told me he loved me for the first time. I started observing Lily more closely when she spoke with Pipsqueak. Her conversations were no longer just childish babble. They were detailed. She'd talk about places I hadn't thought of in years. The old oak tree behind my high school where Leo and I carved our initials. The small, hidden cove at the lake where we'd spend hours skipping stones. Pipsqueak, it seemed, knew every secret I held, every memory I had locked away and tied to him. It was as if he was feeding Lily my own past, piece by piece. Tom thought I was letting my imagination run away with me. "Honey, she's a kid. She hears things. We've probably talked about all this stuff around her," he'd say, trying to be rational. But we hadn't. I had been so careful to bury that part of my life, to protect my heart from the old pain. The breaking point came on what would have been Leo's birthday. I always spent the day in a quiet melancholy, a private grief that I never shared. That evening, as I was tucking Lily into bed, she looked at me with an unnerving clarity in her eyes. "Pipsqueak isn't coming tonight," she said softly. "Why not, honey?" I asked, smoothing her hair. She replied, "He said he has to go. He said he's happy you have Daddy and me now. He said you're not sad about the flower box anymore." Tears welled in my eyes. I couldn't speak. Lily reached out and patted my cheek, a gesture so mature, so comforting, it took my breath away. And he said, "He told me to give you this." She opened her small fist. Lying in her palm was a small, worn, wooden bird. It was intricately carved, with a chipped wing and faded paint. My breath hitched. It was identical to the one Leo had carved for me the summer before he died. I'd lost it shortly after the accident, and had grieved its loss almost as much as I'd grieved him. It was a piece of him, a tangible memory I thought was gone forever. I looked at Lily, then at the wooden bird, my mind reeling. "Where did you get this, Lily? Where?" She simply smiled, a serene, knowing smile. "Pipsqueak left it for you. He said you'd know what it means. He said he loves you, always." I picked up the bird, its familiar weight settling in my palm. The wood was warm, as if it had been held for a long, long time. In that moment, I wasn't scared anymore. I felt a profound sense of peace wash over me, a feeling of closure I hadn't realized I was so desperately missing. I hugged my daughter tightly, tears of grief and gratitude streaming down my face. Who was Pipsqueak? An imaginary friend, a guardian angel, the lingering spirit of a boy with sunny hair who had promised to love me always. I don't have the answers, and maybe I don't need them. Pipsqueak never came to visit Lily again. She eventually forgot about him, the way children do, but I never will. Sometimes, I take the little wooden bird out of my jewelry box. I hold it in my hand, and I remember, and I know, with a certainty that defies all logic, that I was loved, and that I am still watched over, and that, I've come to realize, is not a secret to be kept, but a gift to be treasured. Thank you for listening. If you have a story that defies explanation, I'd love to read it in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories.